Good day. My name is Ned Riordan. I was born in 1917. I had 11 brothers and sisters. My family lived on a farm in Coosa, Georgia. When the economy collapsed in 1929, we didn't own anything like stock. I hear people talk about that, and I don't even know what it is. But when the banks lost all their money, they called in the mortgage on my parents' farm, and we lost most of the land. And my family couldn't afford to pay to feed 12 kids. So one night, my brother Dan and I decided we had to go help. We needed to make money. There were no jobs in Coosa. So that night, after my parents went to bed, Dan and I snuck out. We hopped a train. And for almost 12 years, we rode all over this country looking for work. But that first night, we made a horrible mistake. Dan and I separated, and he went west and I went north. If we'd have known how bad it was going to be on the rails as a hobo, we would have stayed together. You see, sometimes you just don't know the future, but the best way to figure that out is to look at the past. And I tell my stories today so people can understand how bad things truly can be, but also how to find hope even among the darkest times. Throughout what we call the Great Depression now, I saw things that no young man should see. When I first went out on the rails, I was only 14 years old. And I've spent the last 10 years, 12 almost now. I came back home at 10, but, well, I'll tell you that story later. But you see, we think today all the hardships we face are new, but they're not. They're just different. And we can learn lessons from my stories. And I hope you'll let me come see you and tell those stories. And some of them will have to wait until you're a little bit older. But I can tell stories from kindergarten all the way up to high school that will help you understand that we've been through some hard times. We've been through struggles. We've almost fallen. But my family and I survived. This nation survived. And so will we all. Good day. Now, that was just a little excerpt. My name is Terry Allee. And for those of you on my Facebook page here, please share this with others, because Ned Riordan was actually my real-life grandfather, and I've done this program for about 25 years. And it's one of my favorites because I get to truly tell a story that was very personal to me. My grandfather told me every one of the stories that I use in this program, so I feel like I get to reconnect with him while also sharing the lessons that he learned. He hoboed throughout the entire Great Depression when he was a young man, and he spent most of the rest of his life struggling to deal with a lot of those issues. And these stories are good for all ages, because sometimes the best history isn't out of the history books. It's not out of the big stories. It's the individuals. We think we're struggling right now in the United States with all the crazy stuff going on. But if you look back into the late 1920s and early 1930s, and then you follow that through World War II, we're a pretty lucky generation. Despite the fact that the news media and social media here amplifies everything to the 1000th degree, children almost half the time died before they reached adulthood. My grandfather's sister got sick when she was a baby. He was on the road, never even knew she was born, never even knew she died. But my family couldn't afford money to pay for a doctor. Today, even if you have no money at all, no health care at all, you can walk into any hospital in the United States and they will treat you. We have programs today that come directly out of this time period to help anyone in this nation. Those programs didn't exist. My grandfather was chased out of towns. He was beaten up. He watched friends of his die. I will tell those stories in a way that helps us learn lessons today. So reach out to me anytime you have a few days, a few minutes, a few class periods that you might want to hear some history that might help you find a path to the future. At the same time, trace your own family trees. Encourage your kids. There are so many things online. When I traced my family tree 30 years ago, I had to go into church basements. I had to go into archives. Today, it's all online. I can trace my family today much further back than I ever could before. And it's amazing what you'll find. And you just might find your own history. And you can keep it alive for your grandkids, just like I try to do for my grandfather, Ned. Have a wonderful day. I can't wait to hear from you.